At least 30 homes flooded in Bonham. Why one woman risked her safety to go back inside.
Trapped by flood water, having chest pains. Who first responders called in to get one man out.
And a head of cattle swept away by floodwaters. The measure some Good Samaritans went to save some of them. News 12 at 6 starts now.
Texoma's #1 rated newscast, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 6 p.m.
This was going to be our forever home.
About 30 homes on Lake Bonham flooded. Residents now picking up the pieces and recovering what they can. Good evening. Welcome to News 12 at 6. I'm Dan Thomas.
And I'm Maureen Kane. People who live near Lake Bonham are cleaning up after the torrential rains overwhelmed the spillway and flooded about 30 homes. News
12's Kristen Weaver shares the story of a woman who's fighting to recover from the flood while her husband fights for his life.
More than 15 inches of rain have submerged homes in feet of water. And now residents are looking for any sort of items that they can salvage. Gina Bullock strapped on waterproof clothes and waders Monday, braving waist-deep water to get to her Lake Bonham home.
We kept thinking it would stop, but the rain just kept pouring down.
Bullock is searching for clothing, supplies, medicine, but most of all, she's searching for memories.
Especially when you don't know how long you have with your loved one.
Bullock's husband, Bo, has stage 4 cancer. The two moved to this home on Oak Ridge Road on Lake Bonham in February for peace in his final days.
I thought it was a perfect place to bring my husband to for what time that God has given us.
Bo had been getting chemo for 6 hours Friday. That's when it started to rain, more than 15 inches. Lake Bonham got the worst of it.
We opened up the French doors to it yesterday evening and took a canoe in and 2 paddle boards. I mean, there was that much water in.
About 30 homes on the lake were flooded.
We did not know the extent of the damage until we got out here, which was pretty severe. You know, even though it's a lakefront area, we didn't expect it to be on the roads.
Bullock smiles as she wades back into the murky water, hopeful.
We just keep praising God because we know He's going to have to carry us through this.
The American Red Cross is offering assistance. You can find more information on that on the KXII website and app. Reporting in Bonham, Kristen Weaver, News 12.
A close call for an Atoka man this morning. He called 911, but they couldn't get to him because of the flooded roads.
News 12's Stan Smith spoke to his unlikely rescuer about how he was able to get there.
When Roger Pittman woke up this morning and looked outside of his house to see how high the water had gotten, he didn't think he was going to be able to make it to work until he received a call from one of his friends that said he needed help.
When he asked me when I volunteered to do it, he said, "Would you?" I said, "Yeah, let's go." You know, so just to help someone else out.
The call came from his friend, Atoka County Emergency Management Director Derek Mixon. Mixon told Pittman a 71-year-old man was having chest pains, and with the muddy, boggy river overflowing its banks, the ambulance couldn't make it to the man's home.
But I was thinking, I hope we can get up there in time to get this gentleman.
So Pittman loaded up in his lifted truck and drove half a mile to the man's home through the water that he says almost went over the top of his truck's tires.
And we get up there, and sure enough, there's a 70-year-old man up there that's having chest pains and trouble breathing, and he's real weak. And so Derek and I get him in the front seat of the truck, and I drive back out through the flooded water again, and ambulance is sitting there, and I stop, and we get him in the ambulance.
The man has been released from the hospital. The muddy, boggy river crested at a record 34 feet, but Mixon says the water levels have gone down.
And there's people that are flooded in, but they're not in a dangerous situation or anything. And if they are, they're encouraged to call 911.
Before today, Pittman says he had thought about selling his truck. Now, he thinks he's going to hold on to it for just a little longer. In Atoka, Stan Smith, News 12.
Yeah, I would too. All right. By contrast, today's weather finally settling down a little bit, but we are facing a different problem tonight. Chief Meteorologist Steve LaNore is here to tell us what that is. Steve.
We might recall this morning, if you're up early, we had kind of a soupy start here Monday with a lot of mist and fog, and I think that's going to be returning late tonight, but it should be okay for this evening. In fact, the sun started to peek out here and there. Temperatures are generally quite pleasant in the 77 to 79 degree range, but it's a really humid day. So with the supersaturated soil and lots of moisture just above the ground level and not much wind, with some clearing skies. That's a good recipe for fog, and right now the wind is very light and will be generally about 5 miles per hour or less overnight. So again, I think we're pretty good for the first few hours of the evening. Fog will start to develop sometime after 10 p.m. and might get pretty dense in places. Now we're going to talk about how this rainfall has impacted not only Lake Texoma but some of our other lakes and see when our next chance of rain is. It's coming pretty quickly, about the 7 day when I come back.
All right, well, another part of Texoma hard hit by floodwaters, Pontotoc County and the Ada area.
News 12's Crystal Martinez spoke to the county emergency manager about the damage left behind and to one man who lost several head of cattle in the floodwaters.
Friday's rainfall left most of what you see behind me here off of State Highway 48 under several feet of water.
It's fast, real fast. Fastest thing I've probably, as far as water, it's the fastest thing that's ever snuck up on me like that.
Jason BOGLE says he was on his land just 45 minutes before the rainfall came down Friday, hard and fast, sweeping away about 60 head of cattle.
Watching them go under that bridge and just not knowing where they're going to end up, and then fences down through there will kind of make you nervous, yes. So I was a little beside myself.
BOGLE says he was able to get help from the Bushwhackers land clearing, who came in with airboats and spent hours rescuing about 15 of them.
He was definitely a saving grace, that's for sure. Their whole company was a lifesaver.
BOGLE says he and others will be spending the next few days searching for the ones still missing. The extraordinary rains Pontotoc County has seen since Friday is also affecting commuters. Pontotoc County Emergency Manager Chad Lettler says so far 10 county roads are closed, all washed out. He says it'll cost about $350,000 to repair them.
Hoping to get a federal declaration, but it's going to take more than our county to get that. But we'll be working with the state and our local partners to try and get our roads repaired, back open.
Lettler says from Roth to about 5 miles south of Allen saw up to 18 inches of rainfall. He says according to the Oklahoma Climate Survey, Friday's rainfall could be near a 1,000-year rainfall event. In Pontotoc County, Crystal Martinez, News 12.
All right, well, the weekend flooding has left dozens of Texoma roads closed. The longest list is in Fannin County. That includes Farm to Market Roads 100 and 1396 at Bodark Creek, as well as over a dozen county roads closed. Several bridges have been washed out as well. The good news, though, handful of Grayson County roads closed over the weekend. All have reopened. No reports of any road closures in Cook or Lamar counties. And over on the Oklahoma side, several roads remain closed in Pontotoc and Atoka counties. 10 county roads remain closed in the Ada area. Also, a handful of roads are still closed in Atoka County. Several highways, including 377, had to be shut down while the rain was falling Friday and Saturday, but all highways have since reopened. For a full list of Texoma road closures, check out KXII.com or the free KXII News app.
A student at the University of Texas at Arlington was killed by the flood waters. Alan Amaya drowned Friday in a creek on the university campus during heavy rain. He was 23 years old and from El Paso. According to a GoFundMe page, he was involved in the math department and was known for being a loving and helpful person.
Well, the heavy rain and flooding have caused a train to derail in Farmersville, or is believed to cause that. Officials say 11 train cars were involved. No one was hurt. There was no hazardous material released. The area around the crash site will be closed until further notice.
19 people were arrested after a 3-month-long investigation by the Cook County Sheriff's Office Drug Enforcement Unit. Authorities say these people operate in several different organized crime groups in North Texas and southern Oklahoma. They're involved in drugs, weapons, and stolen goods trafficking in Cook, Denton, Grayson, and Love counties. They're accused of selling meth and mushrooms. One suspect alone was arrested with 263 grams of meth valued at around $26,000. State and local law enforcement agencies from across the involved counties helped out in that investigation. 2 people were hospitalized after a crash in Garvin County last night. OHP says 55-year-old Jack Cesar Jr. of Lindsay and his passenger, 56-year-old Joseph Whitaker of Randlett, were headed east on Highway 29 when the car missed a curve, went off the road, and hit a tree. Whitaker was pinned for 45 minutes and was freed using the jaws of life, then flown to OU Medical Center in critical condition. Cesar was taken by EMS to Duncan Hospital, a Duncan Hospital, treated and released.
Well, a couple of Oklahoma Highway Patrol officers getting awards, what both the men did to earn the recognition.
Plus, the disappointment that is the Dallas Cowboys offense. What went wrong in Seattle?
And getting a look, I think we're going to see it. Well, we can keep on looking at the Cowboys.
Nope.
Something almost as depressing, the cloudy skies out there in Sherman, Texas. Getting a live look here. Another rainmaker's on its way. What to expect with the next round? Well, a former Tom Bean city councilman accused of crashing into a Tom Bean ISD employee while intoxicated pleaded not guilty.
Ben Vincent pleaded not guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and intoxicated assault. The crash happened in July 2017, just days after Vincent had been pulled over on suspicion of driving drunk and admitted to drinking a bottle of wine on dash camera, and White police officers let him go. Vincent is due back in court next month.
Well, after Oklahoma legalized medical marijuana in June, less than 6,000 people have asked for a license in the entire state. So far, nearly 7,400 applications have been processed. Of those, 1,600 came from businesses, while about 5,700 were from patients. 4,900 licenses have been approved so far. 377 were for dispensaries, 593 for growers, and 165 for processors.
2 Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers receiving some pretty prestigious awards for their service today. State Trooper David McCutcheon was awarded the Purple Heart in July 2011. He was hit while on the side of the highway in the line of duty. That led to him having surgery and medical retirement in 2013. 2 years later, he came back to OHP, but not long after that, he was significantly re-injured in a high-speed pursuit. Now he is back again and says he's ready for whatever challenge may come his way. Trooper Tommy Richardson was given the Chief's Award. Last year he was working a pursuit of a murder suspect and saved somebody's life who was being held hostage. Both men say while they're honored, they were just doing their jobs. Tonight at 10, these 2 men share their reactions to getting those awards. All right, coming up. Our former Oklahoma Sooners star has already played his way into a starting role in the NFL.
And it could be a murky start to your Tuesday morning. We're talking more fog and another rainmaker not far behind that. So how much rain will this one bring? Your 7-day forecast is on the way.
From the Weather Authority, here's Steve LaNore.
Well, it's kind of a tale of 2 tower cams to describe today's sky conditions. Looking along I-35 from our Holiday Inn Ardmore tower cam, a lot of sun, a pretty afternoon. The clouds begin to break there around lunchtime, and just a beautiful evening. I imagine we'll get a nice sunset at Ardmore, Wilson, and Healdton tonight. But as you headed farther east, the clouds are hanging tougher. So from our TMC tower cam along Highway 75 in Denison, we do have some sun breaking through, but definitely a lot more cloud cover to contend with the farther east you were in Texoma. And I do believe the clouds will tend to thin around the entire area this evening, and that sets the stage for good condensation or cooling of the air. With all this moisture, not much wind, I think we're looking at more fog and mist in the morning hours, so you might want to tack on a few minutes to your plans to get to work or school on your Tuesday. Lake Texoma, now since Friday, up 2.70 feet, and it's still rising by about an inch every 3 hours, and water temperature 80 degrees. I thought we'd go ahead and check on some other lakes across Texoma too. All these since Friday. We've seen Arbuckle Lake being one of the smaller lakes going up the most there, almost 8 feet into the flood pool now. Lake Atoka at 4 feet up, Hugo Lake 5 feet above where it was Friday, and Lake Ray Roberts in Cook County up 4 feet. None of these to the point where, as far as we can tell, they're flooding any structures, but they're definitely all quite a bit up from what they were. With all that runoff, that shouldn't be a big surprise. More fog tonight, maybe some mist, so weather aware for that. And slow down because of the situation in the morning. It'll be a little tough to see. Just allow a little extra time and get there safe. That's the way to do it. So temperatures right now, 78 in Paris, 77 Sherman, Denison, Bonham, and Durant. All the numbers pretty close together here on a day like this. You just don't see a big variation. And the wind, hardly anything out there in the wind department, so that's another contributing factor to potential of fog tonight when you don't have the air being mixed up very much and you have a lot of moisture. I mean, the ground is soaked, plus the air above the ground is quite moist, and it's easy for fog to form on this kind of a night if you have enough clearing. I think we're seeing some of that this evening. So allow me to introduce you to our next rainmaker, and there's a well-defined upper trough. You can see this U-shaped kink in the jet stream here. Now that's going to be tracking to our north, but a second trough coming in behind that will come across Texoma. And together, these two features will push a cold front through and also provide a little bit of lifting. So that's what you need to get rain. Now, because this is a fast-moving system and doesn't have anything like the moisture we had over the weekend, there's no chance we'll see the kind of rain we had with the weekend system, but maybe up to an inch of rain, which won't help. It'll just create a little more runoff and a little more of a sloppy yard for you and your roadway. So here we have Futurecast in motion with the front coming in late tomorrow night into Wednesday. Again, moving through pretty steadily. Looks like most of the rain will form just behind the front with the upper wave. But surface high pressure dropping out of southern Canada will also allow for some delightfully cool nights. I'm talking 50s on Thursday morning, feeling pretty good there. Futurecast does show overnight tonight, nothing happening, but there could be some fog here in the morning as indicated by these cloud elements. They'll break up. We ought to have at least a partly cloudy, possibly a mostly sunny day tomorrow. Then as the front begins to come in early Wednesday, we'll see some showers developing. There could be a thunderstorm or two in this, but nothing severe. That'll roll on through, and the chance of rain should drop off before sunrise on Thursday. So for tonight, temps back down to about where they were last night, 65, 66 degrees, something like that. Watch out for the fog and mist, though. Could be kind of a yucky start to your Tuesday. But tomorrow the sun comes out. We get warmer, 87, 88 degrees tomorrow, with a bit of a breeze out of the south, helping to break up the fog and drizzle. But that could linger through about mid-morning on that, so heads up there. Rain chance 50% on Wednesday. We cool it to 58 degrees. That's an average. Some of our northern counties, like around Ada and Colgate, could be like 55 on Thursday morning.
Wow. That sounds great.
Yeah, so there you go. Taste of fall.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Yeah, it's definitely here. Well, speaking of fall, we've got plenty of football to talk about.
Yeah, football season. We're really starting to get into some of the good games now, that's for sure. Coming up, a former OU Heisman Trophy winner takes control of the starting quarterback job for his NFL team. And how bad was the Cowboy offense yesterday in Seattle? We take a look at it next.
Now, your award-winning local sports coverage. Here's David Reed.
As bad as Sunday was, the good news for Cowboys fans, it can't get any worse, right? Well, maybe not. Sean Lee is now likely to miss at least a couple of games with a hamstring injury. But let's get into yesterday's collapse in Seattle, shall we? The Cowboys offense is something else, isn't it? 13 points, 137 passing yards, 3 of 13 on third down, and 3 turnovers. They're averaging just over 13 points per game. That is 31st best in the NFL through 3 contests. Something's got to change.
The turnovers hurt us, the early interception, and then when we're giving ourselves a chance at the end of the ball game, the fumble, and then the late one. So obviously I have to do a better job with the football, and overall the pass efficiency and explosiveness was not there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's frustrating. That's what we got to go back and spend these next couple of days figuring out or trying to hone in on exactly what's the problem, what it is, and get better at it.
Former OU quarterback Baker Mayfield has officially played his way into the starting job in Cleveland. Baker came off the bench last week and brought the Browns from down 2 scores to win their first game in almost 2 years. The formality has now been made formal.
Obviously, Baker has worked extremely hard, put himself in position to be the backup, and obviously in this game was able to go out and play well. He nailed it.
It's humbling. It's an honor, you know. That's what I wanted to be, though. I wanted to be the starting quarterback, but I wanted to play. It's just human nature. So I'm happy, but it's just the beginning.
And speaking of the Sooners, they were able to escape their game with Army with their perfect record intact. OU now 4-0 heading into Big 12 conference play, which begins with a home game against Baylor. That one's set for Saturday.
You know, they're going to bring an explosive offense, I think a much improved defense here to Norman on Saturday. So we're eager to get back into Big 12 play here full time. Excited about our kind of last home game here for a little while, and we'll be looking forward to playing.
Yeah, that was a close call against Army for sure, going to overtime. But yeah, here comes Baylor on Saturday for OU.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, David.
All right, stick around. We'll check back in with Steve next.
Welcome back to News 12 at 6. And you can see on Futurecast, we start off tomorrow morning. Some fog around, but I really don't expect any rain during Tuesday as we get into Tuesday night. Should be a quiet evening, but on Wednesday, a cold front starts to move in. Showers could develop before sunrise. They'll come on through the area. A few thunderstorms are possible. This is a fast rain event. We're looking at probably an inch or less of rain, not enough to cause any serious flooding issues, thankfully. But we'll be down in the 50s on a really nice taste of fall Thursday morning. Only a 10% chance of those games getting wet this week, David.
We'll take it.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Steve.
See you at 10.